Afternoon, gentlemen. SBG Active Aussie here, Monday afternoon. It's 1:20 p.m. Just a few minutes ago I saw a brilliant, vibrant coloured parrot, a very vibrant blue and yellow colour, so that's very nice to see something like that. Occasionally I see one of them in here, but not too often, so that was very nice. You may have seen the video I made on Saturday, I think it was, in regard to Passport Bros, and I made two videos, made a part two as well. And one of my subscribers from the UK left a comment, and he talked about the so-called import bros, and I've never heard this term, this sort of phrase before. I think that's very interesting, and that's exactly what some men are. They are virtually, practically importing a bride from overseas. And you older guys would have obviously heard about the mail order brides, and that sort of thing was around in the 80s and 90s, and a lot of those guys were disparaged at the time, and they were called desperados, whatever, because they were bringing in women from Thailand and the Philippines. But import bros is a very interesting sort of term, I feel, and you still have a lot of guys doing this, especially in the USA, and there are even agencies which organise tours to places like Cebu in the Philippines and to Bangkok and a few other places. There are a few in China as well, but they're not as popular now just because of all the problems there have been in China recently, but they still have a few of these types of tours operating. And these sort of companies will encourage men to get like the fiancé visas, marriage visas. I think they call it like a K1 or K3 visa in the USA. So there are still a lot of very thirsty beta type men out there who are quite happy to do this, and it's the usual, oh, the grass is greener on the other side sort of attitude. And a lot of these agencies are charging a lot of fees, so once again it's all about the money, of course, and I really find this quite off-putting. Consider it to be a bit of a scam, but a fool and his money are easily parted as usual. And once again, a lot of the types of men who are doing this, they may be considered to have very low SMV in their own countries, like in the USA, Australia, UK, whatever, or they're just unappealing in some sort of way, and they think by bringing one of these gals from Southeast Asia or maybe from China back to the USA or Australia, it might raise their status somehow. But what a lot of these men forget is that when some of these women move to Western countries, their SMV goes up by a huge margin. Even say a Chinese gal in her early 40s, mid 40s can still be very good looking, very attractive, and have a very nice figure, a nice body. And if she moves to a place like the USA or Australia, her SMV might go up maybe like 85%, even though she's a Shangnu, a leftover woman in China. In Australia, she has a lot of value, a lot of SMV in a place like Sydney, Brisbane, Gold Coast, or in the USA like in LA, a place like that. So, but the man's SMV just remains the same. So the man's new wife, she will be preyed upon by various predators once she arrives in the USA, UK or Australia, like, for example, the Chads or the Chad Lights, who are obviously not interested in marriage or anything serious, but they are still quite prepared to just smash. So that's a huge risk for these guys, apart from the fact that the women quickly learn about the divorce laws here in the West, and they might even know that well before they come over to places like Australia. So I was just thinking about this in the last couple of hours, and I just felt like coming out, making a video. I've got a bit of free time. But also this morning I was doing a bit of browsing on YouTube, and I came across this video by this Filipina girl who makes videos just of her doing her normal like daily activities and chores, like washing the clothes, cooking or whatever. And she'd made one video, I think it's called Filipina Hangs Out the Washing, Filipina Doing the Washing or something, and it got 685,000 views, I think. So it just goes to show how easy some of these women really have it. And this gal was only about, you could say, a 6 in looks. Her figure was okay, but she's nothing special. Plenty of Asian gals who are in a higher tier, higher bracket than her, I suppose you could say. But she still gets this massive amount of views just for one shorts video. And she had another cooking one. I think it had 400 or 450,000 views. There were quite a few of them. So it's really like men and women in many cases are living in a different sort of world. And just going back to the import bros, I feel that a lot of these types of men, these sort of men, are really out of touch with reality. So they're not really thinking carefully about what can happen, or maybe some of them know about the risks and they just don't care. Maybe some of them have a lot of money, but as we know, even the wealthiest, the high status guys are getting cleaned out. So like I said in another video, there are certain guys who think they can like game the system, so to speak, but you really can't. If some guy in Hollywood with high status can get cleaned out, so can any man. Anyway, guys, just felt like coming over here to the park and making a video. Leave a few comments and feedback as you usually do, and hopefully I can talk to you soon.